do you do repairs or do you sell parts or? So there are a couple of kinds of videos that I really love to watch. First one would be why I bought this camera in 2019. Don't know why, I just really like the idea of like what old tech is still relevant and like why you maybe should buy it. Another thing is I like teardown videos and like taking shit apart and seeing what's inside stuff. So any opportunity to open up a camera and see what's inside and maybe get some snazzy B-roll of, you know, the guts of it. Ugh, that's a little bit, yeah, just love that. So here you go, C100. So I broke this big bastard a couple of weeks ago. I dropped it and there was a HDMI cable in and it bounced and yeah, just kind of like tore out the HDMI connection. I looked at how much it was to get fixed and it's at this point basically more than the camera's worth. And I looked at how much I could sell it for and that's less than it's worth. So I am gonna fix it myself. Or break it. If I break it, then, well, then I don't know what. Look, I know this is a pretty out of date camera at this point, but I really like it. But if you don't know, this is the C100, the original from Canon, and it's about 7 years old at this point. Doesn't shoot 4K, doesn't shoot high frame rates, so I mean, the codec's not even that great. It's fine, it's robust enough if you're not doing too much to it, but it's not amazing. So why am I bothering with it? Why don't I just get rid of it, get shot a bit? Well, because it's a really great sort of workhorse of a camera for doing specific things. It's not great for everything. I think something like my what's it called? EOS R is probably better for loads more things. But I really like this camera. It has a grip that comes off it, which is just really comfortable. Just the one record button on the front. It uses huge batteries. The screen's rubbish. This is even worse. This viewfinder is terrible. It's kind of clunky, it's, I'd say, quite difficult to review footage, things like that, because there's no touch screen or anything, there's no really easy way to do that. You kind of use this joystick on the grip. But it has full HDMI out, or it should do. It has DC in, which means you can just power it indefinitely. It also has the top handle, which has XLRs and stuff like that, so that you can fiddle about with your audio, get great audio with, you know, plugging mics into it and stuff like that. ND filter built in, that's probably one of the major reasons I'm keeping it. And just like dedicated buttons on the side that just give you quick access to important things. And it's also video only, so it makes a lot of sense to keep this. They're kind of camcorders basically, but they're just really nice interchangeable lens camcorders. And that's why in 2019 I'm still using this. I don't use it a lot, partly due to the fact that I broke the HDMI and I really like to have it shoot to an Atomos recorder, you know, the little screens, so that it shoots in ProRes. It gives it a little bit more of a decent data rate, so you can color grade it a tiny bit. It shoots C-Log, which is really nice because the EOS R shoots C-Log, and you can match them up pretty well. I found that this, it isn't as good as the EOS R, but that's much newer camera, much newer sensor, much better processing, that kind of thing. It's a good solid camera. Honestly, it looks good on a set as well, which I know is a kind of stupid thing to say, but appearances do matter sometimes. And even if it's just to shut up the guy from accounting that comes in and is like, oh, I've got a camera that does exactly the same thing as yours. Yeah, but you're not using it to do that. No one really owns this just as a, you know, a hobby camera, really. And eventually it'll probably just end up being my fixed camera in the studio, and I'll just leave it there and it'll slowly wither away at that, or I'll sell it in 6 months' time. But for now, I'm gonna fix it and keep using it, or destroy it, I guess. broken part. So I've managed to retrieve the broken part, and it's this little bit of the HDMI, and with some tiny pliers I am going to try and recenter it and hopefully fix it. I'm going to desolder it first. Solder it. Jesus, I'm not American. Wish me luck. And it was at this point that I realised it was kind of beyond repair, not the whole camera, but the board. So I rang round to some registered Canon repair shops. Hi, I got your details from Canon, just looking at getting something repaired. Yeah, Canon camera, C100 specifically. No, it's just yeah, I'll give them a call now. Cheers. Thanks, bye. Hi, I've just been on the Canon website and I got your details from there. I'm looking at getting a part or a repair on a C100. The HDMI port basically got knocked when it had a cable in it, and a couple of the pins have come detached. Do you do repairs, or do you sell parts, or you don't? Yeah, I'm looking at the board right now. I've got it in my hand, yeah. Do you sell those parts, or do you just do the repairs? Right, okay, yeah, okay. I know you can't give me an exact price, but is there a sort of ballpark figure? Yeah, okay. Do you know if is there anywhere that does? No. Well, that was a bust. It was torn away, and the connections were so tiny and just impossible to fix. So I put it back together and tested everything on it. It's working perfectly apart from the HDMI cable. I'm really in two minds as to whether to keep it or not, because one of the main things that I liked about it was the fact that I could pair it with the Atomos recorder. It didn't make for a much better image, but it made for a better image. It also means that I'm shooting in ProRes, which is easy to edit on a Mac, just because it just renders quicker. I don't know, I like the idea of keeping this and just having it hooked up all the time, and it just being like my studio camera. This is like my YouTube camera. One of the problems with that is I've not got the model with autofocus. I mean, it has autofocus, but doesn't have the like continuous autofocus, which means that every now and again you end up not being in focus. Also, the C100 Mark I, one of its stupid failings is that the screen, as much as it flips up and kind of around, it doesn't flip out, so you can't see it from where I'm sat. I can't see a screen. So I could be out of focus right now, and that would be shit. So what do? And if I sell it, obviously I'm gonna have to tell the buyer that its HDMI cable doesn't work, which I imagine is something that a lot of people care about on this camera. So that's a bit annoying. I'll probably get a lot less for it. I spoke to a company that does repairs on it, and they said it would probably be a couple £100 for the parts, and labour wouldn't be much more than that. I mean, I took it apart and put it back together in less than an hour, so I can't imagine that would be too much of a stretch for them. Say around £100 an hour for labour. If the part was 200 quid, maybe 300 quid for the whole thing. I might put this on eBay, just buy it now and do it as like do it like 650 quid. They go for around 950, so if I knock 300 off. If they don't want the HDMI, someone's going to get an absolute bargain. If they do, then there's enough left over there for them to have it repaired. Hopefully they'll have more time and more patience to send it off. That was the other thing, they said 12 days. I'd have to send it and then it would be in the queue for 12 days. It's a hell of a long time. I mean, I could do without it for that long, but, well, I don't want to. I'd rather sell it and just buy something else. Great camera though. If I do sell it, I will miss it. I don't know. So in conclusion, that might not have been the best thing to do, and I actually didn't get anywhere with it, but at least I got to see inside of it. I'll see you guys next time.